Hey guys, it's Veronica from teacherveronica.com. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to give you guys an Outschool reality check. We're going to talk about the honest truth about Outschool and why there are a lot of teachers out there who do not want to teach for them. But before we get started, please be sure to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. This channel is all about teaching online and homeschooling. So if those are topics that are interesting to you, then you are in the right place. I want to say that the first and most intimidating thing about Outschool for teachers who don't have experience in this is creating your curriculum. I know there are teachers out there that this is a no-brainer for them, but for many of us, myself included, this was one of the things that deterred me in the beginning. You have to create your own curriculum instead of just teaching like you would for VIP Kid or any of the other ESL companies out there. Creating your own curriculum can be intimidating and time-consuming, especially if you've never done it before. What do you teach? How do you create curriculum? Where to get started? Those are all valid questions that teachers have when they are first considering applying to Outschool. There is also a time investment with no guarantees that you'll be booked. So you must invest time. Even if you don't create your curriculum right up front, you're investing time in creating that class listing, creating the thumbnail, submitting it to Outschool for approval, and then opening up sections to be booked. This is time consuming and there are no guarantees that you're going to be booked for that class. So that is a definite downfall to Outschool. Another downfall to Outschool is that teachers can't just teach from anywhere, meaning anywhere in the world. You have to be from certain countries in order to be eligible to teach. Those countries are the US, Canada, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. Since I started back in May, the application process has gotten a lot more rigorous. That is another deterrent for many teachers. The application process used to be a breeze. You submitted a 30-second video, you wrote a little bio about yourself, submitted it, usually got approved within a few days to a week, did your background check, and you were all set. Now the process is a little more rigorous and they're a lot more picky than they were before because they've had such an influx of teachers in such a short time, so they can kind of be picky now. It's just some extra hurdles that you'll have to jump over. All right, so I know we've all heard about the awesome income opportunities that are to be had with Outschool. You can make $100 an hour, you can teach whatever you like. Reality check. Bookings are very inconsistent, especially in the beginning. Like I said earlier, there are no guarantees with bookings. New teachers have the hardest time getting bookings because they don't yet have a following, they don't have any ratings, so it's a lot harder to get your foot in the door as a new teacher. With inconsistent bookings comes, obviously, inconsistent income. You could make $5 an hour, you can make $100 an hour. This is something that you need to know up front because if you depend on this job for your main source of income, you must know that it will not be consistent, especially not in the beginning. So many things, so many variables can affect bookings. Holidays can affect bookings. What's going on with the pandemic, with school, all of these things affect bookings. So know that your income will most likely fluctuate. I know teachers who are averaging about $40 an hour, which is not bad at all. I also know teachers that are averaging $100+ an hour. I have made less than $10 an hour, and I have made over $100 an hour. It just depends on the class, it depends on the learners, it depends on the time, and all of that takes fooling around, playing around with your schedule to see what works best for you. Outschool has a lot of competition. There are many teachers on the platform, but guys, there are also many students on the platform. So again, we go back to you bringing your own individual personality to Outschool, and children that are attracted to you and your style will find you. And with competition, unfortunately, come some copycats. There are some less than honest teachers on Outschool, and I've seen some of my teacher friends have their classes copied word for word and listed. One instance even used the teacher's watermarked thumbnail. Thankfully, Outschool is very strict about this, and they work quickly to get these teachers' classes taken off of the platform, and also making sure the teacher can no longer teach. So just know that that is out there, unfortunately. Now, one of the pros to Outschool is that no feedback is required. Some of us that come from VIP Kid and other ESL companies know that feedback is required after each class. Not for Outschool. However, sometimes I choose to send feedback, especially if there was something that the student did spectacularly well or they needed some extra help with. I will send the parent a note. So even though no feedback is required, you do have to communicate with parents. Unlike other platforms where the communication is done by the company, in this case, you are the contractor, you are the business, you are the one responsible for handling parent complaints, giving refunds, accommodating parents, answering their messages. There is communication between the parents and the teacher. Some teachers may not like that, so just a heads up, that is something that you will have to deal with. Bottom line is that this is one area that you are going to have to handle rather than Outschool handling it for you. Let's talk payments. If you already get paid bi-weekly, this might not be a big deal to you, but I'm used to getting paid weekly with VIP Kid. And for ongoing classes, your payment can take up to 2 weeks to be deposited in your account. Outschool will pay you the Sunday after the week is up, so the week that you taught. I didn't know this before, and so here I was waiting. All the other Outschool classes tend to pay a week later, and I didn't know. I had to research and figure out where is my payment. So just know that if you're teaching ongoing classes, meaning classes that parents don't have to continue enrolling for, they just go on week after week until you stop, those payments can take up to 2 weeks to be deposited into your account. Something else to keep in mind is that Outschool takes 30% of what you charge. It's a hefty rate. I think a more fair rate would be 80-20, even 75-25, but that's 70-30. When I look at how much money has gone to Outschool, like, whoa. I do understand that it is going towards their administration, our use of Zoom as a platform. It's also going towards advertising for us. They advertise on Facebook for us. So I do see the benefit, but I still think that 30% is a huge chunk. So plan for that and know ahead of time that 30% of whatever you make is going directly to Outschool. Another downfall could be Zoom itself. Many teachers are not familiar with Zoom. I wasn't familiar with Zoom except for attending meetings, but not hosting meetings. So for me, it was completely new. The controls were different, muting and unmuting children, letting them in from the waiting room, all of the different controls that you have access to on Zoom, how to write on the screen, everything I had to learn. So there is a learning curve to Zoom, and that is something that you should know before you apply. The good thing is that Outschool does provide training, and also there are some trainings available for Zoom. So you're not completely left out there in the cold. You can take trainings to learn these things, but it's just something to keep in mind. And the last thing I'm going to touch on are teaching times. This might be a pro for so many of you. For me, teaching times are actually a little bit of a con. Why? Because I came from VIP Kid, I was used to being done with work by 7-8 a.m. I'm done. I have the rest of the day to myself, for my family, for my kids, and we homeschool and we'd get all our stuff done. But now I am teaching kids stateside, and I'm finding that I miss being done by 7 or 8 a.m. However, I do like that I am getting more sleep at night, And I do like that I am making a much higher wage with Outschool than I am with VIP Kid. So I guess we can't have our cake and eat it too. But again, that might be a pro for many of you. For me, it's kind of a pro and a con. That's it. Those are some tough topics that a lot of teachers don't want to talk about, but it's the harsh reality. And do I recommend Outschool? Yes, I recommend Outschool for sure. Because despite all of these shortcomings or inconveniences, the bottom line is that Outschool, once you get your foot in the door and you start to get a following, your time will be more favorably compensated. If you want to know how much I made once I started taking Outschool seriously, check out this video here. It wasn't an easy, smooth, fun beginning for me, and I don't really believe that it's an easy, fun, smooth beginning for any new teacher. Because there is a learning curve, and if you are not experienced in creating your own curriculum, it is intimidating. One more thing I'm going to leave you with, and that is that if creating your own curriculum is what's holding you back from Outschool, I have a simple solution for you. Figure out what you want to teach, what you're good at teaching, and get on Teachers Pay Teachers, and you can find curriculum on just about any subject. That will save you from having to create your own curriculum, at least in the beginning, until you get comfortable with the process, and you can start teaching right away. I hope this video was helpful to you, and that the truths that were discussed in this video don't deter you from applying to Outschool. Let me know if there were some questions that I didn't answer. You can reach me right down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, have a beautiful day, happy teaching, and be blessed.